Have you been wondering when the best time is to sell your house? Let's talk about this video that starts right now. Hi, I'm Chad Scott from eXp Realty. Thank you for checking out my channel. Please hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell to be notified of new videos that drop every Monday at 10 a.m. I often get asked by my sellers and even people that have no intention of selling anytime soon, when's the best time to sell my house? Well, the simple answer to that is when you're ready to sell. Are you ready to sell in the spring? Maybe you want to sell in the fall. Maybe you want to sell before the school year. Maybe after the school year. Timing is different for everybody. So the perfect time to sell is when you feel the time is right for you. Maybe you just had a job transfer, so maybe that's the time to sell. Maybe your family's expanding and you need a bigger house. Maybe you're downsizing houses. The right time to sell is the right time for you. Of course, there are different market trends that tell you the right time to sell. Before you call your realtor to list your house, ask yourself, why am I selling? Do I need to sell or do I want to sell? Need versus want determines on when you're going to sell. If you need to sell, say for a job transfer, or you definitely need a bigger house or a smaller house, for whatever reason that need is, then the time to sell is definitely now. There's always buyers looking. There's always somebody looking to buy your house. So if you need to sell, then now is the time. There's no benefit to waiting. Houses sell all the time. There are, of course, ups and downs in the market for house selling. But if you need to sell, then now is the time. If you don't need to sell, we're going to get into some market trends. And you may want to wait for when the market is typically at its highest, or when you could typically make the most for your house. So if you don't need to sell, let's get into those market trends now and talk about when you may want to wait to sell your house. So like I said, if you don't need to sell, you may want to go with market trends. You may want to hold off selling until when the market typically says you're going to sell the fastest and for the most amount of money. So nationally, the best time to sell a house is in March. If you're trying to sell a house quickly, then you want to list in March, but no later than Labor Day. You want to get that house on the market for that spring market when typically a lot more buyers just kind of jump in the market because they just feel like they have that tax money, that tax return in their hand, and they feel like they have more money for down payment now and other stuff that is involved in buying a house. They just feel like now is the best time to buy a house. So if you're looking to sell quickly, nationally, March is the best time to put your house on the market and try and sell quickly. National averages show that houses listed during the weeks of March 11th and March 18th, those 2 weeks, typically sell the fastest. They usually sell within 7 days or less of hitting the market. So if selling fast is your number one motivation for selling, you want to definitely list in the beginning of the spring market, so March. And those 2 weeks of March are the best times for you to list. If selling price is your biggest motivation for selling, you want to make the most amount of money on your house possible, then you want to list your house in July. July is the peak of the summer selling market. That's when you have the most buyers and sellers out there. You'll typically make the most amount of money on your house then. You'll get at least asking, sometimes even over asking, especially in this market that we're in right now. You'll probably get over asking if your house is in good condition and move-in ready. To sell for more than asking price, you typically want to list, national averages show that you want to list the house the week of April 22nd. You definitely want to list your house before September though. September is kind of the cutoff. That's when families are kind of settling in, getting ready for the new school year. Of course, there are still always buyers out there, but September is just kind of the time where families are just kind of settling in and saying, you know what, we're going to take a break from looking for right now, and we'll pick it back up in the spring. National averages show that October is the worst time to list your house. I'm not saying not to list your house in October, because like I said, there's always buyers out there. If you list your house in October, odds are it will probably sell. It may just sit on the market a little bit longer than me as your realtor and you might expect, but it will still sell if you list in October. National averages show that the homes listed during the weeks of October 14th and 21st are the least likely to sell for over asking price. So like I said before, if money is your number one motivating factor for selling your house, you definitely want to list in the summer market. That June, July, even early August is a great time to list. So what day of the week should you list your house? Well, national data shows that you should list your house on a Thursday. Houses listed on Thursdays tend to sell faster than any other day of the week. Nobody really knows why. Theories are just because people are looking on Thursdays and Fridays for open houses and new listings, so they go see houses on the weekends. So you want to list your house on a Thursday if you want to sell it quickly. The worst days to list your house is a Sunday. Houses listed on a Sunday typically take an extra 7 days to sell. Saturday and Monday are close behind Sunday as the worst days to list. So you definitely want to try and list your house on a Thursday, maybe even a Friday. Thursday and Fridays are typically the best days to list your house. So this information I've been giving you so far has been national data. This has been, every market in the nation compiled and then given the best time frames to buy and sell. So what about our local market here in the Chicago-Milwaukee area, our little corridor that we live in? So surprisingly, the best time to sell and for the most amount of money in the Chicago-Milwaukee corridor is February. You wouldn't think that's the best time. Usually February in our area is cold and snowy, but surprisingly, data shows, they do exclude 2020 data because 2020 was a little odd. They do show that February in the Chicago-Milwaukee market and Kenosha market where we live here is the best time to list your house. Houses tend to sell quicker and for the most amount of money. I don't know why. I honestly don't even know if that's really true, but that's what the data shows. So if you want to sell your house for the most amount of money, then you definitely want to sell in the summer selling market. The latest you'd want to sell is probably that first week of August. Ideally, you'd want to list your house end of June, really anytime in July. Typically, the middle of July is like the best time for listing your house. That is when you'll get at least at asking price offers, probably even over asking price, considering your house is well maintained and move-in ready, that the buyers don't really have to do anything to it when they move in. Of course, everybody's typical thinking of, buying and selling in the spring still holds true. That is when you're going to see the most buyers come out. That's when you're going to see the most sellers start to come out. That's just kind of the thought that everybody has. It's been ingrained into them for years by the real estate market. That spring starts the selling season. Usually around March, April-ish is when you start to see the listings pick up and the buyers start to come out. Like I said, when they get that tax money in their hands, all of a sudden they have, extra money for down payment, for whatever they want to use that money for. So, now is the time for them to go buy a house. So the spring market is still typically the best time to go out and list a house. But as I said before, if you need to sell, any time of the year is perfect time to sell. We're in December right now. We're still seeing houses sell right now within days of hitting the market if they're move-in ready and priced right, because there's still plenty of buyers out there. Buyers are always looking for houses. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is. So if you need to sell, list your house at any time. If you don't need to sell but you want to sell, then you may want to follow some of these trends that I outlined in this video. Start selling in the spring market, sell in the summer market for the most amount of money. For whatever reason in our area, selling in February seems to be the best time to sell. So keep all these tips in mind if you're looking to sell a house. If you're thinking of selling, but you don't know the steps involved in selling your house, check out this video. It's linked in the comments down below. It's called the Home Selling Process Checklist. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you found it informative. Please hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell to be notified of new videos that drop every month. Thank you so much and have a great week.